What is happening, guys? It is Jew coming to you with another review of an indie comic called Isom. Isom is made by Eric July, Cliff Richards, and Gabe Altab from the RippaVerse comics. Now, RippaVerse comics is new because he just released this as of recently, earlier this month. Well, actually, it was released a while back. It just had to get sent out, so we just received it earlier this month, and I did an initial review on a different channel on my commentary reaction channel. It has nothing to do with comic books. It has nothing to do with reviews or movies or anything like that. So I wanted to do an initial real review after glancing through this again and give you a rating. I gave it a rating on there, but I'm going to see, my mind may move around and give it a whole different rating. But I'm going to say it may stay around the same after I tell you about the story. Now, we're going to get into Isom. This is a spoiler. This is I'm just going to tell you what's going on. Avery is Isom. Avery is the character of Isom. This is Avery. Avery is basically living on the outside of the busy city life. He's living on the farm. He's staying away from that life for whatever reason. It doesn't really get to a deep origin story as of yet, but it does give you what's happening. It's jumping straight into the world. It's not telling you where all this stuff started, none of that. Now, he gets a call from, I want to say it's his sister. His sister calls him and says, so-and-so's missing. They're not feeling that. They've been acting different, and he's kind of like, why is this my problem, and why are you trying to get me involved in this? So he doesn't want to get back involved in dealing with stuff, but she kind of needs his help and wants him to look into it to see what's wrong with her, to see what's wrong. I believe the girl's name is Jasmine. I could be wrong, but he wants him to investigate, see what's wrong, and he's like, nah. Then she starts talking about, mama's gonna be upset, and like, that's what gets that catches him. We start talking about mama and all that. That gets him. So he just drags himself back out there to see what's going on, and he realizes that she is involved with a guy named Darren. Darren is a boss of a criminal enterprise, a criminal mafia type boss. He runs nightclubs and different organizations and has people working for him. So he knows that's where she's more than likely at. And I mean, because in their heads, they think that she may be a part of some illegal, doing something that she shouldn't be doing, possibly stripping, prostituting, something. It doesn't really get the exact details, but that's what's in the head, and they want to know what's going on. But he goes to the nightclub. He goes to ask for Darren, and they're like, the people there are like, nah, you don't get to ask for him. Like, who are you? Darren happens to walk out, see him, like, no, don't worry about it. They start having a conversation. Turns out they know each other from high school. They know each other from back in the day because he kind of refers to it. He brings it up. He starts talking about it, like talk about how he used to think about Avery and whatnot. Avery is like, after they say, no, let's get to it. Let's get to it. But it turns into a scene. It turns, obviously, they're not seeing eye to eye because they're living two different worlds, and they're targeting two different things. And chaos breaks out. Obviously, Darren gets his boys, like, let's get this man out of here. Avery kicks a few of their asses, but he runs into a big dog. One of the elites, one of the possible accept. He can just tell. They get to this fight. The fight becomes a little crazy. He starts to get his ass kicked. Anyways, sometime in between that time and after, he ends up leaving the scene finally. He gets tossed out and he just leaves. And then he runs into these, there's a scene where these other accepts appear on the scene, which are, one's name is Yura, is a female superhero accept, and there's a group called Alpha Cool. They get into this chaotic fight. Somehow Avery gets caught in the middle of that, and she thinks for whatever reason, I'm trying to remember exactly how he got caught into it. I can't say exactly, but he gets involved in that little confrontation. Ends up getting into this fight with Yura. And Yura's looking at him like, "Oh, I never heard of you. When did you join the Alpha Court?" He's like, "I'm not a part of them. Whatnot." She ends up flying up in the air and dropping him on top of a car. He lands on top of his back, and he should have been dead. He should have been dead. He survived, and he gets taken to a hospital by all this. There's a crowd of people outside. They take him to the hospital. So he gets into the hospital. He wakes up, but the doctors and stuff are talking like, this guy should be dead. Like, they started suspect. They're kind of suspect that he might be possibly one of the Accepts. See, they don't know him because it doesn't really talk about how long he's been outside of the world where all this is going on. So he wakes up. He realizes that he has to get up out of there. He escapes from the hospital. He sneaks out. They go back to the room that he's in. He's gone. They're like, what? He's running down the street in the nightgown. This hospital gown. Runs into some bums, and I guess a streetwalker, a female, makes a joke about him. He ends up finally getting some clothes on and getting himself back together. He ends up, I believe he goes to his sister's house. Goes to talk to her about the situation. And he sees his niece. They got to reunite, stuff like that. But he's more determined to get back at Darren, even though in his head he's trying to get it or his sister, they think he's supposed to be trying to find out what's going on with Jasmine. He finally does. He goes back out there and he finally sees her again. He sees her. He talks to her, see what the hell's going on. He can tell that something's going on wrong. But then a couple of his goons, Darren's goons, go outside the nightclub and see him talking to her and tells him to get away from their worker. She ends up going back inside and whatnot. And then he gets into it again with them. So it's happening again. It's another chaotic fight that happens. It's a running to the big guys again. The big guy. And they end up getting to this brutal fight, but this time he kind of gets more of the best of the other guy, even though he still kind of catches an L. It's not really showing the full potential of his powers yet. It's showing that he has the skills, but it's not showing the full potential. So then he runs into this guy that he used to know that made his uniform from before. I guess it's from the past. Whoever made it, he tells the guy, like, look, I want my package back. I dropped it off. I know I promised I would not come back for it. But he's basically warming up to get ready to get back into the life. The guy has the uniform. The guy says, nah, I'm not giving it back to you. He says, hell no, I'm not giving it back to you. He's like, what? The guy's like, not in this condition. He wants to make some adjustments to it. He wants to get it even better than what it was. So he lets him try it on. He says it still fits perfect, but he wants to get it like more solid for him. So that's basically where it ends at. But it also is with what's that group called? Norfrica. It's a rock band or whatnot. That's what they do in the human world or the real life world for a living. But when they get off, they're part of the Accept. So it threw them in as a cameo as well. So it's getting you ready for that, as much as it's getting you ready for Alpha Core and Yura and some of the others. But as far as where is this headed? It doesn't say. I don't know if it's going to go backwards. Is it going to give you more of an origin story, or is it just going to be moving forward until it's showing what is going on with who is Darren? Is this guy just a guy that has a bunch of people working for him to fight, or is he an actual legit Accept? And I think he probably is. The guy Darren is probably an Accept, because I just like, if you want to get rid of this guy, you can just kick his ass. To be honest with you, if he's not one of y'all, I get there's people working for him, but so I think there's more to it. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 6.5. I'm gonna break down the different reasons. Like far as the quality and art of this, that's a 9. I give it a 9. It's a 9. It's up there. It could be it could be a 9.5. You know, it's about 9.5 in the quality, the solid of the book itself. The scenery is, I think, is pretty good. I think the dialogue could have used just a little bit more details. I think a little bit more details just on what it used to be, but maybe that's yet to come. Far as keep me interested, I think I am interested, but I'm not like extremely interested. I'm not like blown out the water, like I can't wait. But I am interested to see where this is headed. So I do recommend, if you are into comics and you're into books and you're into new stories and indies at that, I would recommend getting it. Because at first I think more of my initial review on the other channel was just kind of just a lot of support and excited about it. But the more I looked into it, I think there's a lot more work to do. But I think for a first book, I think he did a very good job. But just to be on the realistic, if I want to compare it to other books that I've read, I'm gonna have to give it a 6.5. I mean, I know on that page I said a 7, but I just think, as far as to keep me interested, there's more to come. There's more. Like the next one could probably boost up to an 8, or we'll see. But I can only expect it to get better. And I'd say, tell me what you think if you read Isom. What's your thoughts? And show this guy love. I'm not one of them guys that come out there and just give it a 2 or a 3 just because I don't like the guy. I do like the guy. He's a cool guy. So, yeah. So, tell me what you think.